What is a pebble? Well, I'm not going to explain it to you, but I'm going to share a story with you that I hope by the end of the story you have some understanding of what a pebble is and how uh, understanding this language of pebble can help us throughout our season and help you as leaders throughout your season. So, Dr. Shauna O'Grady um, owns a home in the country, and her home, it's a rather nice home, a split level, 4 bedroom, lots of space, and it backs onto this ravine or forest, maybe more of a forest than a ravine. And one day it's a beautiful, beautiful day, early summer, so it's not too hot, gorgeous day outside. She decides I'm going to take my dog for a walk. Slides her shoes on real quick, no socks. Slides her shoes on real quick, takes the dog and the leash, and they go. And the dog's on a leash right now. They're walking for about 10 or 15 minutes, and Shauna feels something funny in her shoe. Decides to ignore it because it's such a beautiful day outside. She really just wants to, embrace the beautiful weather and just relax and unwind while she's going for this nice walk with her dog. So she decides to let her dog off leash. The dog runs around, chases after whatever, and she continues to enjoy the walk. As she continues to walk, like 15 more minutes, that irritation, that minor irritant in her shoe, in her foot, on her foot, becomes a little bit more of an irritant. There's a little bit more displeasure, a little bit more, I wouldn't say pain, but it's definitely, she's not feeling so good with her foot. But she decides, no, I'm going to keep walking, it's such a nice day, and gets caught up in the day. And now she can't find her dog. So she decides, let's find Bonnie. Bonnie's her dog's name. Let's find Bonnie, and let's find Bonnie. So she walks for about another 15 minutes, calling out Bonnie's name, but still trying to enjoy the day. And she does find Bonnie. And by this time, her foot, she's really in some pain. Her foot is really bothering her. And she decides to stop and, take off her shoe to find out what's going on in there. So she takes off her shoe and she notices, and she, sort of goes to empty it out, and she notices that, first of all, her shoe, the back of her shoe's got a bit of blood on it, and there's this pebble that drops out of her shoe. Little, seemingly insignificant pebble drops out of her shoe. Now she's probably about 45 minutes away from home because they've been walking the whole time, and now she's got to walk back. So she puts Bonnie on the leash, says, let's get going back home because her foot's really bothering her. Makes a beeline home. Once she gets home, now the heel of her foot is just killing her, and she takes off her shoe, and it's really bloody. It's a big bloody mess right now. So, what does this have to do with you? Well, throughout our season, we have our mission, our goal, our vision, and our norms. And as I mentioned from a culture standpoint in the intro for this week, we want to live and breathe our culture and norms every single day. You're going to come into events, times, experiences with teammates where they're not living and breathing our culture at a moment in time. And that manifests itself differently. It could look like different things at different times. What often happens is we notice these things, we notice them and we observe them, but we figure, it's nothing. It's a minor bother. It's a minor irritant, just like the pebble in Dr. O'Grady's shoe. And because it's a minor bother, it's a minor irritant, we don't do anything. Just like Dr. O'Grady didn't empty out her shoe when she first felt the pebble in her shoe. She kept walking, right? Ignore it, enjoy the day, all that kind of stuff. Well, what happened to Dr. O'Grady can happen to teams in that these things that appear to be minor irritants, they appear to be insignificant, they appear to be things that we don't want to spend time or energy on, they can become big, bloody messes later on, if not dealt with at the beginning. So what we want to do is, when we identify a pebble on our team, and I think you all, hopefully you understand what I'm sharing here, I think you all know what pebbles look like, and you've experienced some on your team. We want to put pebbles on the table when they come up, okay? If you got an issue with a teammate's constantly late for practice, it could seem really insignificant. It could seem like, what's the big deal? Well, let's compare that to our team values and team norms. If we're talking about commitment, right? Commitment. What does commitment look like? And part of commitment could be, you know what, we are at practice on time. So if someone is continuously not at practice on time, it begs the question, well, what are we going to do about it? So we put the pebble on the table, and the way we do that is just by sharing an observation. Hey, Susie, just want to share this with you. Just my observation. We have this value about commitment, and part of that means that we're on time for practice. I've observed that you've been late for practice. The last 5 practices. What's up? What's going on? And that starts the discussion. Okay, but it's really important that we put pebbles on the table before they become big, bloody messes.